I want you to change the world, and don't think that this is going to happen peacefully or you can do it alone. We need to kill the rich. You get out there, you use your weapons, and you rip Washington apart. You hunt down the billionaires, the bank bosses, the CEOs, the scumbags and the liars, the governors, the lobbyists, the senators, because they're all the same, and you hang them.
Good morning, everyone. It's May 2nd, 2018. I'm Eric. How's everyone doing? I hope you're well. I'm here at Activist Post. Police cadets quit exposed department for training cops to view public as cockroaches they're at war with. Comes from Jack Burns. It's a Free Thought Project article. So it takes about 4 years of college for an enlisted person in the military to become a military officer. But it only takes 9 months if you're a cop. There's a group of 10 former Austin police recruits that want to become peace officers, but the Austin PD is training warriors instead of guardians. And now they're blowing the whistle on the mentality that they encountered when they signed up to be peace officers. KVUE writes, Summer Spisak, a 38-year-old former tech employee who participated in 9 weeks of 8-month academy last year, said instructors told her and other cadets they would punch them in the face if they wanted to be police officers to help people. She and others are now sounding the alarm to the public, saying police are being trained to view the community as enemies and not their fellow citizens. Summer Spisak says, it's so different from what is portrayed. It's so different from my expectations of the Austin Police Department. KVUE continued by describing another former recruit's observations. Jonathan Murray, who now works in sales for Dell, says instructors repeatedly degraded the homeless and prostitutes, referring to them as cockroaches and suggesting they find a transient if they get bored, and wanted a felony arrest. While I don't necessarily agree with prostitution, I don't agree with a woman selling her body. That's none of my business. It's her body. And, you know, if she wants the risk of being murdered or catching a disease, that's on her. The fact of the matter is, if a man gets a prostitute, or a woman gets a prostitute, believe me, it happens, it's a mutual exchange. It's a, you know, a fair transaction between two consenting adults. So it's really not the business of the police in the first place. The same with drugs. I mean, if I were, say, selling weed, I'm not hurting anybody. I'm providing a service between myself and another consenting adult, and whatever they want to put in their body really ain't anyone else's business, is it? So, the viewing sex workers as insects and the homeless as potential targets for prosecution differs vastly from the generalized public perception of police officers as those who are sworn to protect and serve members of the community. According to the former recruits, officers of the peace should have a guardian mentality as opposed to the warrior mindset the recruits and graduates are being taught to possess. Both Murray and Spisak joined 8 others who voiced their concerns in a letter to 2 different news agencies. Their objections were met, predictably, with denial by Austin's Chief of Police, Brian Manley, who claims his cadets are trained to be both guardians and warriors. This quote comes from Brian Manley, Austin Police Chief. We train our officers at the Austin Police Department to be guardians, but to have the ability in the moment to become a warrior when it is necessary. Law enforcement is a profession where you have situations where you have to go in and use force to protect yourself or the community. But the vast majority of the work we do is requires that guardian mindset, that guardian training. And he's lying, you know. Many officers go to Israel to get trained by the Israeli police and defense forces because, well, I'm not really sure why they go there to get trained. Maybe it's because they're so badly undertrained here. Many of the officers here don't even go to the firing range. So, to give you some kind of idea of what you'd be up against if you, say, had a group of 20 men and you had to fight the police, a lot of them are highly undertrained. Part of the motivation, it seems, to train police to be warriors comes from the false perception that there is a raging war against law enforcement. There are absolutely zero statistics to support the claims that there is a war on cops at work on the streets of America. And there are no statistics. In fact, 2017 was the safest year for officers in 50 years. While there are less than 75 officers who are killed, they say by bad guys, but, you know, do we really know that they're bad guys? I don't know. I'm not going to call them that. They could have been trying to defend themselves. Like I told you all before, here in Spartanburg, our sheriff's department, they regularly murder people, and one such incident was over half of the cops, half of the sheriff's department sheriffs or deputies. They owed a guy who sold Percocets thousands of dollars. And instead of doing the right thing, the honorable thing, and paying him off and leaving him alone, they go to his home, they gun him down, and then claim that he tried to reach for a gun. all because they owed him that much money. Here where I live, the sheriff runs whorehouses and meth houses out of the motel rooms. So, and believe me when I tell you, they do not like competition. So 75 officers killed by people with guns each year. More officers' deaths are attributed to suicide than homicide and vehicle accidents combined. So the ones who have any kind of conscience end up killing themselves because of the things they have to do to the public. Therefore, there is hardly any justification to train police to become warriors. Critics would likely contend, instead, responsible academy training should be understandably focused more on preventing suicides and depression than learning the public is the enemy, to be referred to as cockroaches. Much of the criticism involving the training comes from the teachings of retired Lieutenant Colonel David Grossman. As the Free Thought Project has reported, his lectures on killology are routinely given to law enforcement leaders throughout the country. If any single police officer trainer can be credited with promulgating the warrior mindset throughout the nation's law enforcement agencies, it is Grossman, through his instruction and speaking engagements. John Ells of the Men's Journal had an opportunity to attend one of Grossman's lectures and interview the controversial police trainer. Ells said Grossman grossly exaggerated the notion that police are engaged in a war on the streets of the United States, claiming, like other national leaders have done, the streets of America are more dangerous than they have been ever. And Grossman encourages recruits to study how to kill and when to kill. But his facts are simply false. Not only is violent crime lower than it was in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, but fewer officers are being killed now compared to the days of alcohol prohibition. Ells writes, over the past 2 years, he has spoken to more than 100 departments around the country. There's probably no one in America who trains more cops. There's almost certainly no one who trains cops who is better known. So, thought I'd share this with you because they're given the us versus them mentality, and it's resulting in many people being killed while unarmed, a lot of them on their knees or on the ground in some way. And it just goes to show what your standing is as an American citizen. So, one more paragraph here. Grossman, and all he represents in the eyes of many, is precisely what is wrong with police academy training today. Police officers number almost 1 million strong in the U.S., yet the pervasive view among many officers as well as their supporters is, as one unarmed or unnamed military veteran told the Free Thought Project this week, the people they serve are evil and the work of law enforcement is righteous. And it's not. Anyway, I thought I'd share this with you. I hope all of you have a great day. And remember, kill the state and live free.